So I'm really bored at the moment and I don't have any video ideas. So I've been watching a bunch of GD layout videos on YouTube and I've seen some questionable ones. And I just decided it'd be a good idea if I showed you how to make a decent looking layout. Because I've seen some that are mid. And yeah, obviously my layouts aren't the best. I'm not like Vanta Black or R2 level layout makers. But I am decent, I would say, in my own opinion. So it would be a good idea if I made some informative videos on how to make decent looking layouts so it can help you guys in the future if you're making videos and you want them to look okay. So I want to start by showing my Woodyverse layout. This is an upcoming collab I have with one of my friends. It's inspired by Luchiverse, but I want to show you how I built this level and what makes it look decent on recording. So as you can see at the start there, I used a little bit of sync with the portals. This is obviously the drop part, so there's going to be a part before this because this is a collab. And I went instantly into a ship. I made sure I aligned the ship so it was flat, so you had a decent start, so you weren't just thrown in. I aligned the ship and it worked perfectly. And then what I do is you can see obviously I don't use the orbs on specific. I actually do move a lot of objects with these four here, which are quite good, like these portals, and make sure to rotate them. Obviously the hitboxes on here are slightly different because this just has the flat or horizontal if you rotate it. Like sometimes the portals, you see, it's just on increments and it does it weirdly, whereas in the actual game the hitbox would be along with this. So the physics are a little bit different in the editor than they are, so you make sure you have to play it back quite a lot. As you can see, I filled the space here. I used saws and I have made them different rotations. I made sure to structure this properly, so I just put this off screen so it doesn't look floaty. I also do like making my spikes float a little bit just by placing them down and just tapping them one up, or obviously if they're upside down, just tapping them one down, and that makes it look better. I also, every now and then after I build a section, I select all, edit object, and I turn off glow. I just think personally, in my opinion, it works for some layouts. Other layouts it makes it look worse, so just sort of go with it and see what makes it look decent. As you can see, the glow here just sort of takes away the rough edge, and I use a lot of pink orbs in my UFO gameplay because I think it works really well, especially with mini, because you can fit through tighter gaps. If you're making a hard level, I make a lot of extreme demons, it works quite well with timing. You can see here as well with this structuring, I've placed it off with these little blocks here. It makes the grid go smaller if you need help with that. But also you might have noticed the main thing I made this video for is camera control, because I've seen so many layouts where it's blind gameplay off screen. If you watch my level request streams, you'll see so many level requests that I get through that are just so off because there's so much blind gameplay in them. There's no camera control, so I make all of my gameplay quite close together, and I never like to use, obviously there's exceptions for clicks like this, but I never like to use orbs in quick succession. I always like to do an orb and then a jump and then an orb. I use a lot of alternating between jumps and orbs because I think it just makes the gameplay flow better and it doesn't make it look like it's spammed and repeated. If you want to, I use a lot of scale, so you can see different objects scaled differently. I don't specifically use a set one, like I don't fix it to intervals of 0.25. I do have slider hack as well, so it can go lower than 50. And it can go all the way up if I want it to. Less of a thing I do and more just level specific. I've made these sort of rotate because it looks quite cool. Actually, I think I'd do that with those as well. So it just sort of works better because this is going to be obviously a transition if it gets decorated. This bit, stylistic preference as well. The sliding blocks, use a lot of these in the wave. They're very, very good. Also use a lot of portals in the wave. It makes it so much better, and it can sync. It may not seem like it does, but it does sometimes. Obviously, again, it depends on the layout that you're making, but I just use a lot of portals. And also, if they're rotated, usually make sure that the rotation works properly because you may hit it at different angles. Fix these, and the best way to fix these is just grab a portal like this, normal size portal, and just put it over. Make sure that the hitboxes line up perfectly, and then what you can do is just go group 1. And now it looks good, and the hitboxes aren't broken and busted. But obviously this probably won't work here either, because if you can hit this side and then hit this ramp, so I'm just gonna delete that, but like it works a lot of the time. This bit here is a transition. I like using lots of transitions. You can see there's some invisible stuff there. These ramps are pretty weird. I don't actually know what's happening. I think it's just if you hit it at a certain thing, because if you hit it too low, obviously you go flying off the top. But if you just hit it just right, it works. This bit, cool looking. I just made these fade 0.5. This is right here is a fake block. It doesn't actually have a hitbox. If you go on here, and how I did this is you grab these lines, you can just rotate them, whatever, and then obviously if you're making it look like the 1.0 blocks, you can put a bit of glow upside down like that, make it black color, and it works. And I also have this saved on these, and I also had a 0.5 scaled one, so I can move that about if I want to do little objects, which are just like these. It works. Obviously, these fake you out better if you turn off glow, because these objects themselves don't actually have glow on them, and these objects do usually, so if you turn off glow, it makes it look more realistic. Lots of speed change used there at the end, as you saw in the robot. That just works really well. Don't make speed changes invisible most of the time. Usually use either 0.5 or just leave it as full, because an invisible speed change is quite annoying to time if you're sight reading the level, and it requires a lot of practice and memorization, which this level isn't a memory level, and it's no longer memory, so sorry guys. Obviously these look a lot more daunting than they actually are. There's dual, it's actually literally just 2 clicks. Just click there and hold, and it works, and it flows really well because this ramp here. And I always make sure to use hitbox trail when I play the levels back, and then I build the spikes around the hitbox. Obviously that didn't work there because I hit that too early, but I usually use hitbox trail just to figure out where I should put the spikes. Yet again, camera control is the main thing here. If you go into a lot of famous levels, you usually see that they have like portals. Like for example, they'd have a portal here, a teleport portal, and all of this next bit would be shifted up here, and you just TP into it and be up here, and that throws you off a lot because you have no idea what's coming next. If you're doing an actual layout showcase, because obviously it works in the full deco level because you can just cover that with a transition, but for layout sake, it does not work because it's just, there's nothing here, and then all of a sudden you're TP'd up here and there's all the gameplay up here, and there is no point for that. So please just keep it all horizontal, straight line. Obviously you can see I go up and down a little bit. That is just for difficulty's sake. There's little spikes there. As you can see, it just fixes the hitbox. I haven't structured the ship yet. I haven't actually completely finished this, but this is going to be a memory part. I did make this like full like thing, but it was so messy and hard to play that I just removed it all, and I'm keeping this and structuring it later. I need to fix this stuff up here. Like I said earlier, I don't like using lots of successive orb clicks. Like I'd see a lot of layouts where this would go down and then you bounce, and then you'd have like hit like a pink orb and then a blue orb, and then you'd hit that, and then that would be like flat with a pink orb, and then you'd hit the black orb. Don't use that many orbs. It does not look good on your gameplay. Please just like don't use more than 2 orbs in a row. If you can use only 1, it just makes the gameplay flow a lot better. I try not to repeat the same orbs in a row a lot, because it just makes the gameplay look like you've just used the same orb over and over again, and that's your whole gimmick. It's just pink orb after pink orb. Yeah, so that's how you make good flowy gameplay. That's my preference only. Obviously, you do you, but I was just, from my 10 years of playing this game, that's how I think layouts look good on camera. Obviously you don't have to structure it all like this. This is just my building style, as I use the 1.0 in a structure. I use a lot of these and also a lot of halves like that. Structure it however you want. If you want it to be really atmospheric, use less structuring, just use spikes. If you want to make it floaty, you can just like use spikes and then just have them floating there. Camera control is the main thing. I can't stress it enough. Please make your layouts look like a straight line. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's everything I want to show you today, guys. Just take these tips, do what you want with them. I don't care. Dislike this video, I don't care. To be honest, I just wanted to make a video that was informative to help you guys. If you liked it, subscribe. We're on the road to 1K, we're so close. Yeah, have fun building, I guess. Make some banger layouts, please. I'll play them as well. If you want to come to my level request stream, do that. I'll play your levels if you make them. Use these tips as you will. Yeah, bye-bye.